Greetings, everybody. This is Leviathan here, and today we're going to be going over our tried and true preview of what's to come in the season for Haedrig's Gifts Conquests. We're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to get all the conquests done as quickly as possible. Usually care about that if you're chasing a leaderboard ranking to be at the highest part of the leaderboard for the conquest, or in general, if you just want to get your guardian tier of the seasonal journey, get all the way finished with that. What they've been doing recently is letting us know in the PTR blog, which there's a video that we did on that yesterday. You can definitely check that out. There'll be a link to that in the video description. Went over all the details of the PTR. They'll let us know, oh yeah, there's going to be unique rewards for getting to the end of the seasonal journey. But now we can't see what they are on the PTR. Before we used to get a little sneak peek. So now, I mean, it's kind of nice, I guess, a cool thing that you have to look forward to when the season is actually live for real. You'll be able to see what the final cool thing is. Usually it's like a pet or wings, something pretty cool. And my guess, like I said on yesterday's videos, that's going to be tied into D2 somehow, since they're really pushing the D2 Resurrected train right now. But in any case, we can't talk about what we don't know, so we'll see. However, we do have some stuff here to preview, so let's go into the Haedrig's Gifts, and I'll let you know kind of my thoughts on each class's start and what you can do with them to branch out. So for the Demon Hunter, it's Gnats. They're kind of all-around general set. A little annoying to play because you have to keep the Rain of Vengeance up to get all your buffs. But it's not the worst because it's very easy to reset the cooldown on Rain of Vengeance, so you'll always have access to it. And what I personally like to do is play it almost like Unhallowed Essence. Just do a multi-shot build, aim for that Yang's or that Dead Man's Legacy, and then use it to transition into something like UE, or obviously if you can get to Gears or Dreadlands, even better. So it's not the worst start. Not bad at all. IK for the Barb, another kind of all-arounder general start. You can do a lot of different builds with it, and it'll branch you into just whatever you need, right? If you're going to go support Barb or try to get some whirlwind action. Also, the Barb's Ethereals are looking pretty good from community consensus thus far. If you don't know what Ethereals are, again, check out yesterday's video. We talked about them, previewed some of the Demon Hunter ones. I will be doing a video in the future that goes over every class's Ethereals, my thoughts on them, things like that. So a little teaser, but yeah, definitely excited for what's to come. Barb is looking good. Veers for the Wizard. In the past, this has been kind of a one where you're like, oh, it's tough because you needed so much CDR specifically on pieces. But now with Messerschmitt's Reaver, things like that in the game, shouldn't be too hard to get into a good Veer setup. And obviously you're probably going to be aiming for that Firebird, since that was what's so good in Season 23 and likely will still be quite good in Season 24. So this will be an okay start if you want to start Wizard. They also apparently have some really good Ethereals as well, so that's something to look forward to. Witch Doctor, oh man, didn't get any love in this PTR, and a lot of the people in the community thought they would. It's their time. They've kind of been lagging behind. It is what it is, though. They went with Monk in terms of updating the Inna set. So sadly, no updates for WDs, but you get Eric here to start, which again isn't like a terrible start. And that's kind of the theme, I think, in general with a lot of Haedrigs these days, is that none of the classes sets are that bad anymore. Like, they all have so much power. They can instantly take you into pretty high torment, get you to unlock primals, you know, everything that you really need to do at the beginning of a season. And then if you're playing groups, you can easily gear something else or get, you know, multiple sets going. And if you're playing solo, it doesn't take too long once you have your starter set to farm into something else if you want to swap. Monk Uliana, oh man, Uliana is that set that everybody just like loves. The thematics of it are so good, the cold explosions are so juicy, but it just hasn't like gotten to that level of achievement yet where it's on par with all the like POJ and all the Tempest rushing that happens for the Monk these days. It's crazy. I mean, again, the star of this patch will likely be Inna's, so a lot of monks will want to transition into that. It's too bad that Inna's wasn't the Haedrig's Skiff this time around. Would have been nice to match that up. But yeah, I imagine, you know, once you get your Flow of Eternity, things like that, then you can pop off with your 7-sided strikes and you'll be able to get going on the Monk and obviously transition into Inna's if it's going to hopefully come out with really good numbers by the end of PTR. And then we have Crusader, Seeker of the Light. Again, another build that's kind of been left in the dust compared to Aegis of Valor, the Bombardment and Thorns updates, things like that. So you'll probably transition into those builds, those more popular, powerful builds. But Seeker of the Light's not terrible, especially if you can come across like the Shield early on, Guard of Johanna, or the flail for Blessed Hammer. Like, there's some obviously good things that can help you quickly get off the ground with it, but it's never been like a great speed farmer or anything like that, so it is what it is. And then last but not least, trag'ouls for the Necro. Not a popular one either. Obviously, Burning, Carnival, Masquerade, Bone Spear is the way to go on Necro these days. Even though it got a nerf, it's still going to be pretty good. So, you know, you're not excited to start trag'ouls, really. There haven't been much updates or excitement to this set in quite some time. But it's not terrible. I mean, you're a Necro. Come on. You know you're OP, so it doesn't really matter what your start is. And half the time, most Necros don't even take their Haedrigs. They just go LOD to begin with and then transition into whatever else they need from there. As per usual, you can get some of the old portrait frames if you missed it from previous seasons. You can get this Heaven one. The same old transmogs are still available to you. And then the other side of the juice here is the Conquests. So again, like you want to craft strategies for these if you're really intent on getting, you know, those rank 1 through 10 spots. You probably want to be in a group, probably want to have a solid strategy, organize how you're going to chase after each of these. But a lot of them are pretty straightforward as well. This is obviously just leveling 3 jumps to 65, which you'll do in the course of just beginning your season, doing a bunch of GRs. The big thing here for a tip is to get your Boon of the Hoarder decently leveled. It's kind of anti-synergetic because Boon of the Hoarder can only go to 50. So if you're spending some of your early levels on Boon of the Hoarder, then it's not going to count as one of the legendary gems you can get to 65. However, you will be getting a ton of gold, and that'll help you empower your Greater Rifts so that you're getting more chances to level your gems. So it's a little bit of a trade-off, a little bit of a gamble. You don't have to go that route, but it might be something that can help you get there faster than other players potentially. Next is Worlds Apart or Boss Mode, which is killing all the bosses. Once you start up a game, you have to be at max level and at least Torment 10 difficulty. This one's not bad at all. I often recommend starting from Act 5 and going backwards because Act 5 has some of the bosses that aren't in static positions. So if you're going for Urzael or, oh my goodness, I can't remember her name, Adria, then you're going to need to go through the maze of their zones before you get to them. And so usually you start there, and if you feel like you've spent a lot of time, then you can just reset your game without having too much effort wasted. And then a lot of the bosses, as you go back into the earlier acts, are in fixed positions like Zoltan Kuhl, Skeleton King, so on and so forth. You know, the Butcher, Queen Arianai, some of those are a little harder to get to because they're in those random spots. But that's basically how you want to play it. You can also do this in a group, obviously. If you have a speed build put together, then the damage output for T10 is, you know, negligible these days with a 6-piece set. But with a group, you can also do things where everyone has to be there for the boss kill to get credit. But you can set up a bunch of town portals and then use your map function to be able to save your town portal, but be able to join people for the other boss kills. It's a little complicated to speak it out, but when you see it in practice, it's not bad. And I think I'll probably even try to put some guides together for some of these conquests that you can follow, like, you know, frame for frame, word for word, and figure it out for yourself. I have done plenty of them on the YouTube channel previously as highlights from previous seasons, but yeah, maybe I'll do some specific guides. Actually, put a comment put a note in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in, and then I can put that as a higher priority on things to do for the channel. This one's always fun these days because you can just blast it now. So it's the Thrill or Superhuman, which you have to do a GR 45 solo without any set items equipped. The big thing to remember here is you literally cannot have a green item equipped, like any of the set pieces with that green background. Even if you're not completing a set, the game just detects that you're wearing a set item and disqualifies you for this conquest. So make sure it's all legendaries. Again, if you have a LOD, it just breaks this, makes it super duper easy. So you can level your legendary or your Legacy of Dreams, maybe like 25, and that's all you really need. You technically don't even need that if you just have a few multipliers for like multi-shot or I don't know, Hammer of the Ancients, whatever, right? Just some skill that gets a decent amount of support from legendaries. 45 is nothing these days, so you can blast it. This one is the Cursed Chest one. We like to call it Curses, Stars Align. Kill 350 or more monsters in a Cursed Chest event. You have to be at level 70 on at least Torment 10 difficulty. So the key on this one is just finding a good Cursed Chest that will spawn enough enemies in the amount of time that can get you to 350. You can do it solo or group. The big key is to just have a build that has great AoE. So again, like a multi-shot like a wave of light, something that has really nice AoE that kills entire screens quickly. The best curse chest for this is at Path of the Drowned in Act 5. Basically, you come off of the waypoint, and there's a couple of locations to check. Basically, you're probably just going to check the whole map, though. You're looking for the Cursed Peat. It can be a bounty, but there are a lot of bounties in Paths of the Drowned, and Cursed Peat seems to be a bit of a rarer one. So it's worth it, even if you don't see it as a bounty, to just check the zone quickly. You basically see like a mountaintop kind of tile set within the middle of Path of the Drowned, and if you see that, there could be two events there. One is like there's a purple mob, you chase him up the mountain and then kill him, and then the other is he doesn't pop up, and if you go to the top, the cursed chest is there. So if you see the purple mob, then you failed, you don't have it. If you don't see the mountaintop at all, you don't have it. So that's definitely one of the better ones, and there are some other ones you could get this too, but that one is like a guarantee. If you get that cursed chest and you have the DPS output, the AoE, you will clear this no problem. Last but not least, Dynasty Years of War. This one's the grinder one. You have to get GR55 done solo with 6 class sets. So this does require you to make a separate class than your main. That's usually the biggest sticking point is, oh, I have to make another class and also get some gear for it. If you're playing in groups, you can get people to throw you gear, get you a power level. You can quickly get this one done. So that's not a problem, and it's a GR55, so again, that's not a problem either, since it literally requires you to wear a full set. I guess one thing to note here is that you can do just 5 pieces plus Ring of Royal Grandeur. All you need is to be benefiting from the 6-piece set bonus for that specific set to get credit for it. So you don't necessarily need 6 pieces, but I mean, it's not too hard to get all of them anyway. And that is your rundown on Season 24 preview, the Haedrig's gifts, the Conquests. Like I said, maybe I'll put some guides together. It could be fun to show you how to get some of these done in particular. Let me know if you want to see something like that. Hop into the comments. Also, let me know in general in the comments what you're excited for this coming season, what class you think you'll play, anything you've seen on PTR that looks cool thus far. Be happy to hear from you, talk it up. I want to thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Adios for now.